Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to the channel. Let me not tip the mic over. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the stream. Like always, check out the Telegram channel. Left a link to that in the live chat. Also, my description. Post my setups there. In fact, just post this Eur Usd setup. And also check out the recommended broker as well. Got my affiliate link there if you want to check that out. But yeah, we're going to take a look at the markets. Again, guys, if there's any pairs you want me to take a look at, feel free to let me know. We'll take a look at it, discuss together, see if we've got any opportunities coming. But as you can see, currently I'm in a Eur Usd position looking for a move to the downside. Again, I did post this on my Telegram just now. But yeah, we did have Eur Usd potential to go long yesterday. We were looking at potential long opportunities. Well, I was anyway for Eur Usd. Looking to see if price can break above this area, come back and retest it, and that's how I look to go long. I was like looking to target the highs and potentially 1.17 all the way up there. But however, as you can see, price action came in. We didn't break through that resistance there, which is the key resistance that I want the price to break through, because this is obviously price just coming back to retest that support now term resistance. And then we also had some news come in as well. So again, USD looked a little bit stronger. USD came down. Experienced a bit of retracement here, coming to the Asian session. I'm looking for kind of late London / New York to take us to the downside. So yeah, in some Eur Usd shorts, looking for that continuation. Again, changed my bias from yesterday, looking for the push to the downside now. And like I said, if we do come to the downside, there's a good chance price will come all the way back down to these lows, all the way down here. And this looks like price just giving us kind of like a retracement in form like an ascending channel, and we could be seeing that breakout come back to the lows there. So that's what I'm looking at for Eur Usd. Hey guys, how are you doing? Sure thing, we'll take a look at pound JPY, then pound NZD. I think we're seeing some weakness for the pound so far. Pound JPY, big move to the downside. Again, a lot of JPY pairs took a hit. USD kind of doing the same with it, but JPY a bit more aggressive. So yeah, pound JPY, big collapse to the downside. We had this morning. Was looking for pound JPY to come back to highs. However, we really failed to break through this level and continue. As you can see, we broke through, came back in, started messing around, then we closed back in, and that momentum continued. So we failed to take out that level, and in fact, this has just given us kind of like an unorthodox head and shoulders, if you will. The left shoulder there, the head, the retest of the shoulder from taking that from the left, failed to break through. Bit of corrective price action from the Asian session, but as soon as London came in, pound is just, well, JPY really has shot to the downside. So overall, pound JPY is looking bearish. I think it's just made some new lows, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it has. As you can see, it's taking out that low there on the left. So pound JPY is looking very bearish here. We probably can see a bit more downside for this one. We are coming into this prior daily resistance turn support, so I wouldn't take shorts for pound JPY right now where it is, because you can see if we look left, this was resistance now acting as support. I probably do expect price to break through it. If I'm going to be honest, I probably do expect price to break through. Come retrace further to the downside, maybe come test 155, the next psychological level, maybe 14500. So I can see a bit more downside, but again, not the best place to short. So I'll probably wait for price to push on first, or retrace up again for me and then take the short, or wait for something like that and then take the short, because there's much more probable opportunity of price doing that. But right now, pound JPY is looking bearish, massive bearish in candle there. On the 4H, so momentum is definitely with the bears here in the 4H, so looking to continue that. Like I said, the break and retest option, or if we do pull back, maybe back into this resistance here, which didn't get retested. As you can see, support was resistance there, so maybe you can come back and retest that area, because we just had that big bearish candle that didn't come for that retest. So maybe if you can retrace back up to here, there could be some nice sells, or the break and retest, but I wouldn't short where price is right now. So yeah, more downside for pound JPY, and yeah, targets could be that next psychological level 155. And pound NZD, yeah, they will get into that in a second. Pound NZD is a little bit choppy now. You know, you could argue price is consolidating there to the, well, not to the downside, just consolidating sideways. On the higher time frames, I still do have a bearish overall bias for pound NZD. It's currently testing this support here on the left, as you can see, which is why price is struggling. Again, I still do expect the price to come back to 1.91, potentially 1.9 as well. Nice, you know, some demand there that price might want to go tap into. So I can see more downside for pound NZD, but first off, we're holding on to that support. So I think we might see some retracement to the upside first before price does come down. We do have this support here on the left, term resistance, which price hasn't retested, as you can see. So we might push to the upside here for pound NZD to come and retest that. There could be some nice sells to take this back down again. If you're looking to buy the market, yeah, buyers could be looking good. It's just, you know, very, very choppy, as I can say, you know, kind of moving sideways, but it does look like we are, you know, really failing to break through that support there. So maybe if you can break through this trend line price has got going on here, there could be some nice buys back up into that resistance, the break and retest on the daily. But then here would probably be a nice place to look for shorts to take this one back down again. So pound NZD for me, probably maybe a move to the upside and then come back down because it's really failing to break through that support, but I can still see 1.9 getting reached. So I'm not really too worried about buys. You know, from my trading perspective, I'll probably wait for price to get here to sell it, or the break and retest. So yeah, I'll probably wait for that to happen. But yeah, if you're looking for buys, not bad. Put your stop loss below and maybe the break of that trend line, and then push up into that resistance, and then from there probably sell it back down again. Middle time frame. Well, for me, I kind of use daily. 4H is my middle, and then like hourly, 30 minute, 50 minutes is my entry time frame. So 4 hours a good middle time frame for daily. I would say hourly is a good middle time frame for 4H, and then you could enter like the 15. But middle time frame for me is like a 4 hour. Daily is like where I confirm my bias and the momentum and all of that. And then 4H, I can confirm like structure and what price is doing, and then I can, you know, place my entries on the lower time frames at hourly, 30 minute, 50 minute, you know, whichever one's looking best. But yeah, I would say if you're looking at entering on the hourly, then a time frame above would be the 4H. So that will probably be your middle time frame. Or to be honest, you don't have to always use a middle time frame. Middle time frame is good because sometimes there's a really big jump between the high time frames and the low time frames. So for example, if I'm looking at the daily time frame to have my bias, and I drop all the way to the 15-minute chart for entries, there's a big gap between the 15-minute chart and the daily, or 30-minute chart and the daily. So price action could look a lot different on the 15 and 30-minute, whereas daily, you know, price could be looking very, very bullish. But you know, you could take a buy trade and it fail like 3-4 times on the 15-minute before it actually works. So sometimes the middle time frame helps you not get into trades too early, find like a mid-term, you know, support or resistance level that you can buy from, and then you can look to enter on your entry time frame. So the middle time frame kind of just gaps the high and the low. It's a bit confusing, and if it is confusing you, then you know it's best just to drop it. If you can work out the areas you want to buy and sell in on your higher time frames, and then yeah, just drop straight to your entry time frame to enter your trades. But yeah, the middle time frame is just to branch the gap between the highs and the lows. But yeah, you know, it can get confusing sometimes, and if it is, you know, the best just to drop it and leave it alone. Because you know the ideal situation here is we want our trading to be as simple as possible, really, and if something's confusing it and you know making you second guess yourself, then best to drop it and leave it alone. Gold, sure thing. We'll take a look at gold. So gold will come into the downside again. DXY is looking bullish. I'm expecting DXY to make another leg to the upside, so I do think gold will probably see a bit more downside for this one. Again, we're looking quite bearish. I was talking about some key levels on the daily, saying if we do reject this level here on the daily, price will probably see a move back down into this area here. And if we were to break it, we'll probably see a move back into these highs up here. So you can see we've obviously rejected that. So I'm expecting gold to move to the downside a little bit more to come test 1780 sort of area. Again, it is still looking quite bearish. So maybe if we were to pull to the upside for gold, make a double top there, that'll be a nice place for entries up there. Then you can short it back down into the 1780 support. But yeah, I can still see gold trickling more to the downside. That's some really nice heavy rejection there for gold. A lot of momentum there. This is clearly some retracement. We haven't made new lows past this point yet, so hopefully we can retrace up, maybe form a double top, something like that. Stops above there. Wait for your entries, and then yeah, shorts the downside back down into that daily support. So I'm basically just expecting price just to fill that range from those highs to the lows. And like I said, if it was to break through that, I'll just expect price to fill that range to the upside to 1830. But as you can see, some heavy rejection there. So yeah, if gold can retrace a little bit, shorts back down to 1770, 1777. A lot of sevens there. Again, if we don't retrace that far up, maybe a break and retest of this support here could be possible. Break and retest maybe on the lower time frames, 50-minute, 5-minute, if you're looking for like some scalps or intraday trades. That could be an opportunity. But yeah, for me, gold looks like it's heading off to the downside, and also DXY as well is looking bullish, and I think DXY will see another leg to the upside. So if that does happen, gold should have a very strong probability of continuing to the downside. So yeah, I can see a push back down into that zone. If we do break through that zone, then we could be coming back down to lows. But gold has taken out a very key trend line here on the left, so you can see we're definitely reversing that momentum. So yeah, only looking for sells really for gold. If you take out this resistance here, then yeah, maybe buys back up into there. But yeah, if you're looking for gold, definitely sells, and probably have the targets around this kind of zone, 1777, 1775, around that area of support. So yeah, more sells for gold. Just need to stay underneath that resistance there, because if we do take that out, we'll probably create higher highs, which is not what we want price to do. We want price to stay underneath that resistance. So yeah, break and retest all that lows could be an option, or if we do retrace up and we fail to break through, then yeah, sells there to the downside do look good for gold. Much appreciated, Ian. Much appreciated, bro. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people trading GJ gold, pound USD, like those particular pairs. Like, so many people trade it. Very, very popular pairs. I can understand why, but yeah, that's not how I trade. I like to look for my, kind of midweek swings, holding on to trades for like, 1, 2, 3 days sometimes. And yeah, I try to look for the best opportunity possible, and sometimes that doesn't always occur in the popular pairs. Sometimes there's a really good opportunity on like Usd Cad or something. So yeah, much appreciated for subscribing. I can't speak there for a second. Yeah, Usd Cad and Bitcoin, sure thing, we'll do that. Usd Cad, wow, Usd Cad's pushing to the upside. I have not looked at Usd Cad since yesterday or a couple of days, so that push there is new to me. We're looking quite bullish here. I think we're taking out those highs there on the left. Yes, we are. So again, it does look like we're getting some US dollar strength coming in with the DXY. I'm expecting that to take out these highs there on the left, so DXY should be pushing up, which will probably help USD Cad continue. Cad's looking really, really weak as well. Cad Jpy, wow. Cad CHF as well. So Cad's definitely weak, and USD is definitely strong. So that's definitely helping USD Cad fly. And it looks like we are getting a breakout of this resistance here on the left. So 1.23213. Okay, that's back down here somewhere. Yeah, probably. I mean, again, like, because there's a chance that if I say close the trade, there's obviously that possibility that price could suddenly come straight back down, and then you could be like, I shouldn't have closed the trade, or save my profit, save my loss. Sorry, but at the end of the day, clearly, with the obvious reason to look to sell USD Cad because it was going back into these highs up here, and you're looking for a continuation to the downside. So obviously that hasn't happened with this move here. So yeah, you know, from a technical standpoint, you know, you should be exiting your trade after price doing that. Yes, we can come back down, but if we do come back down, you know, that's the possible, you know, to re-enter the position and then look for that drop to the downside. But then, especially with that momentum as well, and what the DXY is doing, what CAD's doing, there's also, and you know, price could just come back down to retest and continue, and you definitely don't want price to do that. So yeah, I would say close the trade. It's definitely broken past that resistance. Yeah, it is a chance it could be a false break, and if it is a false break, great, because the sales after the false break will be looking good. But right now momentum is looking bullish, and you know, DXY is looking like that's going to go up, and CAD's looking really weak right now. That might change later. We might have some, but we do have some news later, so that might have an effect. But yeah, yeah, I would say close that position. But again, you know, it is your decision at the end of the day. I don't want to, you know, obviously make your account take that loss, but from if I was in your position, yes, I would be closing that trade because it looks like price still got some upside to it. Again, USD Cad, I am looking for sells for this one, just not yet though, because DXY is looking bullish. You know, I'm in a Eur Usd sell, so it doesn't make too much sense. But I'm looking to sell USD Cad back down because I do believe we are reversing, getting ready for continuations lower. So I am looking for that for USD Cad, but again, not quite right now. This here was my first kind of area here for USD Cad that had my eye on. So I'm kind of waiting for price to get there, see what happens. Maybe there could be some sells. And again, that's not too far away from where price is right now. So I can still see price going further to the upside. But yeah, from, you know, technical standpoint, we've definitely broken through that resistance. So I will be exiting that position. See what happens out here. There could be some nice sales there. If DXY is still looking strong there, we might break through that and continue. But we will see. We'll see. I'm looking to short USD Cad, not now, but maybe coming to the end of the week or maybe next week. But yeah, it's just looking too bullish there. DXY is looking like the price is going up. Nice cheer, GJ sell. Yeah, GJ's taking a massive hit there, cheer. So you should be a nice profit there. That's a good move. Failed to break through that. I'm seeing some really nice continuation there. Pound CHF. I was actually looking to go long on pound CHF, but this one's broke through the support I was looking for. As you can see there, it broke through, retested. So I believe that's probably during the Asian session. And then yeah, broke, retested, and then coming into London, big move to the downside. And I was looking to go long off the retest of that to take that further, but we broke to the downside, retested, and then continued. And have we taken out that low yet? No, we have not. So yeah, pound CHF still looking good to the downside. Same with pound JPY as well. Momentum still with the bears. I think pound is quite weak this morning anyway, so you do have that on your side. Eur NZD and Cad Jpy, yeah, sure thing. Eur NZD, what's going on with you? Okay, so big push to the upside this morning. I think NZD might be looking a little bit weak. Yeah, a little bit weak as well for NZD as well. So yeah, Eur NZD, we've seen some upside there. Again, price is coming back into this support and clearly failing to break through that. And a little bit of consolidation around this area here. And price has broken through that to the upside with a lot of momentum. So we could be getting ready for a reversal here. Maybe not reversal, but bigger pullback to the upside. Because again, big move to the downside recently for Eur NZD, and you know, we haven't come back to retest some of these key levels up there. So Eur NZD buys could be looking good. I'd watch out for price action though, because you know, we are still bearish on the higher time frames with all that momentum, but we still are due some retracement. You can see here we broke out these lows, never once came back for the retest, just broke through with one big bearish candle, and the momentum took us all the way down to 1.62, which is also nice confidence as well. We're at a nice psychological level as well. So yeah, Eur NZD can see some upside. If we're to come back and retest all of this consolidation, that could be nice for entries there, I reckon. come back and retest that, give us a higher low, you know, some continuations will be looking good. You can probably trade that back into that resistance. Then, you know, if you're lucky, we can get a break of that resistance and maybe price go and hit some daily targets, maybe around this area here. So yeah, upside does look good for USD. We've already seen that impulsive pushes, which is what we're looking for when we're taking those reversals. Just waiting for that retest, because all of this consolidation will be turned into demand. So if you can come back and retest that, you can see some nice continuations to the upside. And like I said, if you can break through this, we can probably go a lot higher. So USD looking good for longs. I'll probably just wait for some confirmation on that one on the retrace. And then yeah, it's looking good. Cad Jpy, again, we just briefly looked at that one. That one's looking very bearish, as you can see, breaking through those lows there as well. And again, Cad Jpy, I said in my weekly analysis, we're looking for a push into this area here, which was that daily resistance turn support. So I still can see a bit more downside for Cad Jpy, back down to the 91 area. Nice psychological level as well. So Cad Jpy looking good for sells, but again, it's just made those new lows, so we definitely want price to retrace for us. Again, still fresh support here on the left, which has not been retested. It'd be nice to see if price can come back up for us, retest this, and then short down into those lows there for Cad Jpy. Or if we retrace slightly further, we could come back and retest this support, which again we didn't retest either, which is around the 92 area, and then have that move back down to 91. Either which way, I do see Cad Jpy coming back down to 91. So yeah, Cad Jpy looking good. More shorts for this one. Hopefully you get a break and retest on one of those levels. There's a chance that price might just continue because it is looking quite bearish. It might not retrace. It might just fall to the downside and just hit that level. Which if it does happen, then so be it. But if we can get that retracement in, shorts at one of these levels here will be looking very, very good for a move back down to 91, which is that daily target. So yeah, Cad Jpy looking good. Bitcoin, we'll look at Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing these days? Well, Bitcoin, a bit of downside there. I'll just break that a little bit. Well, if we go to the higher time frames, so yeah, Bitcoin recently made some new highs. Expecting Bitcoin to take a little bit of a breather. Because again, we've been quite bullish here. I did say we could still even move into this level down here on the left, around the 52k mark. Again, I think it's probably just retrace for price to continue. So I can still see that push down to 52k. If we're going to 4H, you can see it looks like we're getting a bit of a head and shoulders here. So left shoulder, right shoulder, and the head there. And price looks like it's breaking through that neckline currently. I wouldn't say it's broken through just yet, but it looks like it is, because that candle hasn't closed yet. Could still pull back up and give us a wick. But yeah, if we do break through that, then I'll say shorts for Bitcoin do look good on the retest of this level, and then looking for the continuations. If I go on the daily, you can be looking to target this level, maybe slightly too aggressive, because again, we are taking the pullback trade here, not the continuation. So I probably wouldn't target that far. Maybe you can leave some positions on to trail that. But there's some nice support here on the left, some nice support and demand. So yeah, if you can get a break and retest of this level here, we can drop to lower time frames and trade that to the downside. And maybe if you can break through that, we can go and hit this level here on the left, and then maybe that daily target lasts around 53k. But each one of these levels could send price back bullish again, so do be aware of that. But for me, it looks like Bitcoin's put in a head and shoulders there. Break of the neckline, we'll wait for the retest, and then you can get some nice continuations to the downside. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Again, guys, any pairs you want me to take a look at, feel free to share. Let me know what time frame you guys want me to take a look as well. So I don't know if you guys, higher time frame traders, or looking at the lower time frames, 15 minute, 5 minute. Let me know. But yeah, like I said at the start, currently in Eur Usd shorts right now, looking for a push, overall target at these lows here, which is where price found support around the 1.15 300 mark. So looking for a push into there for Eur Usd. It looks like, again, another little head and shoulders kind of makeshift one, not the most cleanest setup, but I'm anticipating price giving us a lower high here with that wick and that bearish engulfing, and also that we're retesting this support here, now time resistance. We've broken out that ascending channel, so now I'm looking for continuation down to the lows there. So Euro USD shorts into those lows. DXY is also looking good. Like we'll probably take out the highs here on the left, which we haven't done that yet. So DXY is looking good. In fact, if I just scale to the 4H, it looks like DXY has broken out this consolidation, come back to retest it. I'm expecting a bit of a bullish trend here to form, something like that, kind of like that reversal, price coming down, consolidating, and changing direction. So that's what I'm expecting there for the DXY. So basically trading the opposite of that on Euro USD really, which is all of this consolidation on Euro USD, all of this price breaking to the downside and looking for the reversal to the downside. So yeah, currently in that Euro USD short, going to see how that gets on. Was looking for longs yesterday, but yeah, price actually didn't break through that, so never got any setups to go long. And then we have a nice one here to go short coming into late London / New York. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we can see that push from the DXY, which help Euro USD come down. Again, I do think we got some news later for USD. If I'm not mistaken, I'll go check very, very quickly. But I do think we have some news for USD, so that should be interesting to see what happens. Yesterday it was good for USD, so Euro USD did take a hit to the downside, and the same with pretty much most USD pairs. Pound USD to take a quite a hit. So yeah, if that could be the same again, that would be great for me, of course. But we'll wait and see. Again, that's around 1:30 GMT. We got some USD news for them. And we do have some pound news as well. Some autumn budget. Again, no idea what the outcome of that could be. I haven't looked too much into those fundamentals. So again, if I'm in the trade, I'll sit through the news. I know where my stop loss is. I know where my target is. And like I said, 60 to 70% of the time, news does normally play out in my direction. So I'll be sitting through that for USD. We'll see what happens. Maybe not too much will happen anyway. Yeah, NZD USD, we'll take a look at that for you. So NZD USD, same as pound USD, Euro USD. We're expecting some continuations to the downside after that price action this morning. Again, really nice support here that just got broken. So again, a retest of that. Some shorts will be looking good there, and the continuations to the downside. But essentially, price has failed to take out this resistance here. It's had a few attempts to trying to break through that. Failed to do so. It's broken through this support here, looking for that retest, and I think we'll see some downside here for NZD USD. If I go on the daily time frame, you can see we're at a really nice area where price could potentially fall to the downside here, which is all of this support here on the left. So you can see support there, kind of held price action moving sideways. We broke through, retested it once, sharp move to the downside. So we'll be expecting to see something of a move to the downside, maybe not too crazy like the one we just had over here, but maybe a move halfway. That could be a move quite likely. And again, this is the daily time frame. So if we jump to the low time frames, 4H, hourly, 30 minute, 50 minute, this move here might not seem too big on the daily, but on the hourly, that's quite a big move. 50 minute, that's even a bigger move as well. So that's the real purpose of using those smaller time frames, just to maximize your rewards for the exact same move, really. So yeah, I think we could see a move halfway, just retracement. I've got a feeling that we potentially might break through this eventually, but with that price action down the 4H on the hourly as well, it's looking like price will probably see a move to the downside. So yeah, NZD USD, I think we'll probably see a move to the downside. You've got 0.71 there, nice psychological target there as well. Got this wick here. That price doesn't come back to retest, so that could be an area to target first, take some partials in. maybe move stop loss to break even, something like that. But yeah, a break and retest of that does look good. We might not do that though. I wouldn't take a sell where it is right now, just because that's such a big push, and your stop loss definitely has to be above here. You can't put it above there because price hasn't really confirmed that as resistance yet. There's obviously, if you do come up, we could still break through that. You can only put your stop loss above here if price comes and starts respecting that as resistance. Then you can put your stop loss above that because that's clearly resistance. But you know, you can't take the trade here and put your stop loss there because price could still, you know, just break through that. So yeah, wait for that retest, and then yeah, continuations to the downside. But it's looking good for USD to go up, so I'll imagine as long as the entity doesn't see any crazy strength from anywhere, there's a very high probable chance that entity USD will come down, and we'll see a lot of those USD pairs come down, AUD, and the opposite, like USD Cad, will probably continue up. USD CHF, how are you doing? Okay, so USD CHF, not as bullish as you would expect from USD, but that obviously just means that CHF is really strong right now. You can imagine pound CHF did take quite a hit. Euro CHF, you know, big move down, and the CHF big move down. So CHF has been quite strong, but yeah, USD CHF a little bit interesting actually, because it looks quite bearish on the daily. You know, you can see we kind of got this head and shoulders here on the left. Price has obviously broken through that resistance there, support, sorry, and now it's time resistance. So if we do hold this, price can easily see it move to the downside. I think last week, you know, I did say price has got a good chance of moving down to this support. I feel like if we do stay below that level there, which is that support time resistance, that level there does have a high probable chance of getting tested. But again, it doesn't agree entirely with what I'm saying, because you know, I'm expecting DXY to start moving to the upside. So a little bit of disagreement there, and normally when I do get a situation like that, normally best just to stay out of the trade and not give yourself, you know, too much stress, you know, taking the sell because the price action looks good, but then in the back of your head you're going, yeah, but DXY looks bullish, so it doesn't make sense. So best to stay out. I mean, I'm not saying we can't get that move. You know, if you do stay below this, we probably will get that move. But I'm looking for DXY to go up, and unless DXY starts looking bearish again, and then that's when I'll start looking at getting into USD CHF shorts, because that means they're meeting up, they're agreeing with each other. But yeah, I'm not too sure if USD CHF. I'll probably leave this pair alone. Price action for me is looking bearish. We've had that pull back here into that resistance, strong rejection. Price looks like it's breaking through this support here. If we can stay below that and hold that as resistance, there's a good chance it'll probably fall over and come back and test these lows. And if you can take that out, come and test that area. If you start breaking to the upside again, that might change things and see some continuation up. But even that, we might still come into resistance and start pushing back down again. So yeah, we'll leave USD CHF alone. Price action is looking bearish. Just the DXY is not quite agreeing with this one. So I'll leave it on the sidelines. USD JPY, big move to the downside there. As you can see there, JPY is clearly the stronger pair of USD and JPY. Big dump to the downside. Again, was looking for USD JPY to come back and retest this kind of area here, which is like the head and shoulders of this move. The left shoulder here, the head, and then the right shoulder. But price got stuck at this resistance here, and I'm expecting price to probably now go and take out those lows there on the left, and maybe come back and retest the support here around 113.200. So some shorts still look good because we still haven't taken out these lows yet, so we're still in that kind of impulsive leg to the downside. So if we can retrace up, put a lower high somewhere, the shorts will be looking good, and take that into those lows, or at least these lows here on the left. And then yeah, a push into 113.200 does look good in my opinion. There's like price has come and done like a double top there, and now expecting that neckline to get breached and some new lows to be set as well. So yeah, USD JPY looks like it's still to the downside. Again, we're still in that weekly resistance level. Again, which is why, you know, I'm not really too keen on buying this pair. But yeah, we're still in that weekly resistance here, as you can see, with all these wicks here on the left. Very strong rejections, and I'll take that across. And we're still, trading from that area, so we can still see, a push to the downside, maybe even back to come and test this resistance here, which price broke through. Now turn support, so we can even see a big move like that happen, and a bearish trend to start to form. So yeah, I think shorts will be looking good for this one. Just wait for a bit of retracement, that lower high, and then sells to 113.200. And if we break through that, you might potentially go and test that weekly resistance and support, which is around this level here. So yeah, we do look good for some sells here, but not right now unless you're taking it on the 4H time frame. And if you are doing that, your stop loss does need to be above that high there, which does mean your risk to reward will be a little bit skewed, but you do have a good probable trade on your hands. So yeah, Usd Cad more downside for this one. Looking for that retracement for entries. But yeah, JPY is definitely taking a lot of strength right now. You can see pretty much all JPY pairs, looking very, very strong. Imagine we'll probably see some retracement for these pairs coming sooner or later. CHF JPY also putting in these lower highs quite nicely. And normally when price does this, we normally do end up falling to the downside eventually. But we are putting those lower highs, so I can see CHF taking a fall to the downside. Overall, I think JPY is the strongest pair, or currency I should say, out there. So maybe some of those entries on the JPY pairs do look good, but if we can get that retracement, that would be great, because we might not, they might just continue. But again, we still haven't taken out these lows here yet, so we're still valid for some entries off a pullback to the downside. Or even if we do take out those lows, probably just have to wait for the break and retest, but we might not always get that, of course. Cad Jpy, like I said, the break and retest of that does look good as well. We'll see what happens with that, but again, it might still push on. US30 for this pair, we are still kind of pushing to the upside here on the hourly, but we're starting to slow down with that price action. If I zoom out onto the daily, you can see we had that massive big push to the upside, broke for that resistance. I think it is time for price to start to take a little bit of a breather here for US30. I can see a little bit more downside coming for this market. Simply because we broke out of this kind of consolidation. Yes, this is kind of like a retest with that bearish candle, but nothing, price coming down, finding support and continuing. We haven't really had too much of this kind of pullback action, so we're definitely due one of that. And the fact that we've created new highs as well, we've also grabbed a lot of liquidity. So expecting to see some downside again, nothing too major, but just for price to take a little bit of a breather. You can see here we do have a lot of bullish price action there. Push, pull back, push, pull back, push, pull back, so forth. But however, this time though, we're starting to stall at this resistance here. So potentially, if we can hold on to that, we could see maybe that breather taking place, or probably the safer option, if we can break through this support here on the left, come back and retest that as resistance, we could see some nice sells from here to the downside there for US30, and I'll probably look at this support here on the left. Potentially, actually, we could see a retest of this as resistance, so this kind of area here, which in fact does line up with that support on the left anyway. So yeah, I do expect to see a retest of that resistance turn support. We might break back through, but at least just come and retest that. That could be some nice targets there. So I'll be looking for sells for US30. But again, just be careful because this pair is still quite bullish, and you don't want to misjudge that momentum. So yeah, a break and retest of this low here, where we've got these wicks here, support, kind of giving us the head and shoulders there, with that left head and the right. Wait for the break of the neckline and the retest. That looks like here is our lower high in the market. So now looking for that continuation into that support, which kind of lines up with the daily resistance and support as well. If we don't break through this and we fail to do that, you start holding this as support, it means we probably might just see another leg to the upside. But yeah, I think a push down to 35,580 does look good for US30. Always know your support resistance. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what I base my trading from, really, to be fair. I would say, I'm probably a support and resistance trader. That's probably like the category F1 underneath. You've got supply and demand traders, trend line traders, you say, but I'll probably say support and resistance is probably what I use the most. And it's simple to understand as well, so I don't overcomplicate things, which is really, really important. US oil, sure thing. Okay, so US oil. Okay, so I've still got the levels that I draw previously. Last time I looked at this, which was that yesterday? Yeah, probably yesterday actually. Okay, so yeah, US oil, we had this range here on the left, as you can see. Price broke to the upside here, retested that as support. Showed some nice signs of continuation, but it's come right back down to retest that. So again, like I said, probably yesterday when I drew this, that if price does break to the downside here and hold this as resistance, we'll probably see a completion of this range to the downside and then push back down into this support here and just treat that as a false break, and just see the completion of the range. If not, and we hold this as support, so this candle pulls up again and we start just putting some wicks here like we did here previously, then probably oil will continue back up to highs and maybe even higher as well. And this could just simply be price consolidating, breaking through, retesting, and then continue to the upside, just continue that trend. So overall, oil is still looking very, very bullish right now. So longs definitely are probably the better trade, but if we do take out this support now, shorts would be looking good, but I probably will be taking profit from that around this area, simply because again, it's still bullish from the higher time frames, and from here we could easily continue and turn that bullish again. So yeah, break underneath this level, which is around 83.54, 83.53. break underneath that, wait for the retest, because as you can see here, we did break underneath with that closure. Again, not the most convincing close. Normally when you do want to see a breakout or a break back in, you want to see price closing, with not much wick to the upside. Here was another false breakout, to be fair. So a lot of wick to the downside did give me a little bit of a sign that price probably won't, break back in, or at least, definitely wait for that retest. But for this one, well, we're about to close in about a minute 20, so that's definitely not breaking through. So yeah, want to see a confident candle closure and then wait for that retest to confirm the trade, and then you can look for your entries for short. But if not, it looks for me that US oil is holding on to this support here, and I would say we do have quite a high probable chance of price pushing back to highs, back into these wicks up here, and maybe even a higher high as well. So yeah, oil back to the upside for this one. Not too much of my knowledge, to be fair. Yes, we might do coming closer to the end of the year, coming into the last kind of couple months of that. So yeah, potentially price might start to be a little bit more organized, if you will. But again, not too much to my knowledge. I can't remember too much of like last year being such a change in price action. Maybe that's something to go and back test and find out, but yeah, not too much to my knowledge here. I do know that we do get a lot more momentum in the markets coming closer to the end of the year. then we take a little bit of break for Christmas and New Year's, and then it comes back thick and fast in January as well, which is good because then you can just keep that momentum going with your trading into the new year. But yeah, I wouldn't say something that I've noticed really or too much. You okay to put your chats up like you did with your USD? Oh, do you mean my charts? Like the position on Eur Usd? If that's what you mean, because I'm not too sure of what you mean by chats. If you mean charts, then yeah, that's my current position right now for Eur Usd. I have posted it on my Telegram channel, so if you want to go check that out, feel free to do so. But yeah, looking for a push to the downside for Euro USD here. Again, this is not a trade that I probably do expect to be in for, I'll probably expect to be in this trade for, at least a day or two with momentum. I know we might, if we do see momentum like this, then yeah, targets could come quicker. But I think because we've broken through this and we put some choppy price action now, we might do something like this and like that and slowly work our way down there, which might take a couple of days to get there, maybe by the end of the week. But we'll see what momentum brings us. We do have some news coming out later today. And do we have NFP? No, NFP is next week. Yeah, because it's not the first of the month. Yeah, so NFP is next week. So yeah, I'll probably expect to see a couple of days for this one. Okay, you meant charts. Yeah, makes sense. Who taught me how to trade? Well, at the first, my dad taught me how to trade. My dad put me on, but yeah, I'll probably say 90% of what I know is from myself, self-taught. But my dad, showed me the ropes, like support and resistance, all the basic things, all the concepts. But yeah, I'll probably say 90% of my knowledge I taught myself. Or actually, no, I'll give him a bit more credit. I'll say 80% of my knowledge. He gave me 20. Yeah, and basically for Eur USD, it looks like price has just done a break and retest of this level here, which is what I was expecting price to do coming into the week. But I wasn't too sure if we were going to take out this level here and start pushing to the upside. So that's why I was mainly looking for longs. But yeah, after yesterday's candle closure, not pushing back up again, it's looking like price has done a break and retest of that. I'm expecting a push into lows, maybe even a push into 1.15 as well. Could be seeing some new lows, but we will see. Yeah, there's a bit of confusion. I mean, it's starting to make a lot of sense now. I mean, price action has been a little bit choppy, but I would say things are starting to clear up a lot more. You financially, I'm not financially free, sadly, and not. It is a journey. I mean, I've probably been trading for over 3 years now, getting more consistent probably the later stages of a year. So yeah, I'm not financially free. I'm not trading 250k, a million. So that's definitely a goal, but yeah, I'm not at that stage yet. But yeah, it is a goal, 100%. We'll get there, but right now it's just focusing on the consistency. Trusting the process, because again, I still do make mistakes. A lot of the time, which I'm still trying to get out of my game. I know what the mistakes are, which is the most important thing, so you can identify them and get them out. But yeah, so it's a slow process, not trying to rush it too much. Okay, yeah, end of the month, sometimes that does happen. End of the month, sometimes that does happen. The last kind of, especially when the end of the month is in line with the end of the week as well, you do see a lot of movement because a lot of correction. Sometimes you can see like a monthly candle looking very, very bullish here, but then the last stage of the month we see that big pullback and price gives you a wick or something like that. So that does happen a lot on the weekly and the monthly candlesticks a lot, so I do agree there. But yeah, I'm just trying to look for my consistency really, and you know, I've got a good setup here on Eur Usd, so that's what I'm taking out. You know, if you don't want to take trades coming to the end of the month, that's perfectly fine. Don't take trades coming to the end of the month. There's always, you know, next week, which is basically a new month anyway. And yeah, if you can't make sense of the charts, yeah, best stay out. I mean, this looks quite clear to me, so that's why I'm trading it. If this wasn't clear, I wouldn't be in the trade. But yeah, it's each to their own, and that's the beauty about trading. You know, there's so many different ways to do things, and preferences and all of that. Yeah, Euro Pound, sure thing. We'll take a look. Euro Pound. So yeah, Euro Pound a little bit choppy. We had the break to the downside through this area here. We gave some new lows, and then we pushed to the upside. And now we're back at this resistance here. Well, not back at that resistance, but I probably do expect price to be back at this resistance because it looks like this is probably just a fake out to the downside. Again, everyone, the stop losses beneath this area would have been triggered and stopped out there. So that could be a stop hunt there. And yeah, it probably price come back here, confirm that as support, could be some nice buys, and that's why I do expect price to head to and just fill that range to the upside, especially with the false break because we've got that extra liquidity in our direction. So if you can come back into this area, form a higher low, then yeah, I would say, you know, buys into that area do look very, very good there for Euro Pound. Just play the range basically. Again, nothing too amazing with that one. There's a chance that we might just continue to the upside, of course, and not come for the retest, and that way there could be some nice sells back down again, and just simply play the range. But this looks like a liquidity grab here, because if we were breaking out, you know, we should have just retested and continued. Since we broke to the upside with a lot of momentum, this is telling me that price is still wanting to be in that range, and we've seen a bit of a false break there as well. Oh, do you mean win rate? Do you mean win rate? Percentage. So basically, like if you win 60% of your trades, you have a 60% win rate. So let's say you take 10 trades and you win 6. You know, your win rate is 60%. So yeah, that's what they'll say. So like I've got a 60% win rate, 50% win rate, 40% win rate. And again, win rate can be. It's not something to base how good of a trader you are, because win rate does differ from different strategies. Because if, for example, you have a very high risk to reward strategy, so you look to target, you know, let's say 5 to 1 plus, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1. If you have that in your strategy, then your win rate would automatically be a lot lower than someone targeting a 1 to 1 or 1 to 0.5 who's just looking for a quick scalp. They'll have a high win rate. So win rate is not something to go on and judge how good of a trader you are. It's definitely just about you know, how good are you making profits, keeping them, and sustain that over a long period of time. If you can do that, then you're a very, very good trader, because you know, you can keep control and stay consistent and disciplined, and that's, you know, the key traits of a very, you know, experienced professional trader. You know, consistent and disciplined. But win rate is not something to look at too much. But yeah, it's obviously good to have a high win rate. You know, there's nothing wrong having a high win rate, but different strategies will, you know, differ the win rate. So I wouldn't look at that too much if I was you. You know, look towards more what your risk to reward is doing. You know, you're looking for a quick, you know, 1 to 1, or you're looking to swing your trade to 1 to 5. Very, very different strategies, because 1 to 1, you know, you can find that without not too much difficulty, but you're just looking for good price action that will take you, you know, the same distance as your stop loss really. So that you could have quite a lot of successful trades of 1-to-1 and have a high win rate, of course. But obviously with a 1-to-5, if you just nail one of those trades, you got five times your risk. So it's all about preferences, what works for you. That's what backtesting is for, to find out all of these things. Each their own. Everyone's got their own preferences. Some people have got other things going in their life, so they can't always be at the trade a lot, which is sometimes good to drop to a high risk reward, because then you can take your trade, say, on Tuesday and not take profits till Thursday or Friday, which gives you time to do all the stuff you want to do in between. Rather than 1-to-1, you need to be kind of at your desk, sharpish, and sometimes you can't always be there. So momentum, yes, sometimes it might be slow coming into NFP, but yeah, NFP would definitely kickstart things if anything is slow. Don't you worry about that. No, I don't trade order blocks. I mean, I feel like order blocks, supply and demand, support and resistance, they're all kind of the same thing. I know they're different concepts, but where order blocks are normally where support and resistance is normally where supply and demand is as well. So no, I don't trade order blocks specifically. I don't look for that specifically. That's not the way I trade. Nothing wrong with order blocks, of course. There's you can see online there's many traders who trade order blocks, of course. I'm nothing against it. I've never really traded it anyway, so I'm not the best person to ask on that. But yeah, for me, support and resistance, I've traded that the longest, and something that I know the best as well. So maybe it's something I can look into in the future, and maybe incorporating that more into my strategy. But yeah, support resistance is the main thing I focus on. Support resistance and combined with structure and multi-time frame analysis, and that's literally how I trade. So yeah, currently still in Eur Usd. So far, momentum hasn't really kicked off yet. So maybe coming to New York, we'll see that momentum. Still about an hour or two before New York really starts to kick in. So we'll probably wait for that momentum to see what happens there. Again, stops above there. So if you do start creating higher highs, I'll work to that position. We'll see what happens at this resistance again. If we do break through, we will be looking for the longs. If we just come back for a retest, still expecting that move to the downside there for Eur Usd. And again, DXY still expecting that continuation to the upside. That looks like potentially a higher low there. So yeah, still looking for price to continue up. And I think we're holding above this support here as well. As you can see there, really nice resistance, support, resistance. Now above that, so I'm expecting to see some continuation to the upside now. So yeah, DXY is still looking good, still expecting that move up. How's pound USD looking? Pound USD still looking quite bearish, broke to the downside this morning. Again, pound's been looking very, very weak, so we've seen that momentum kick in there. Again, nice spike to the upside. Yesterday I was talking about pounds continuing to the upside, back to these highs and coming up again, but then we had that news that came out yesterday for USD, and obviously you can see brought price right back down. I said I was looking for the retest of this kind of mid-level of the range, because we had this kind of range here between support and resistance. I said I was looking for, I was looking for a test of this support here, but then when the news came out and prices shot right back down again, I didn't want to enter on that. Wanted everything to settle first, waiting for the news to settle before I even begin to look for entries. And as you can see here, we stayed bearish, didn't get any price action there, broke straight through the level, and then after that prices just continued to the downside. So this is definitely price just giving us a massive fake to the upside, bring us right back down again, which is also a really nice sign that we're reversing. And then yeah, pound USD has continued, and pound USD is shot to the downside much better than euro. As you can see, euro's done well. Euro nice move to the downside, but hasn't seen much this morning. Whereas pound USD, you can see, has really just gone for it this morning. So I'm expecting euro to kind of catch up with pound. They do move in the same direction most of the time, so if pound USD is going to make that move to the downside and continue, then there's a good chance Euro USD will follow as well, but they might move at different rates. I remember one time I was trading Euro USD, where was it? I was trading Euro USD all the way up here, looking for this move to the downside, which did happen, but at the same time, pound was making that sort of move. I chose Euro over USD. But pound made this really aggressive move. So pound made the move first, then Euro USD slowly followed afterwards. So I think that's going to be this kind of the same thing happening now for pound and euro. Pound's made the move first, and I think euro is just going to slowly follow behind it, which is why I trade euro and pound, Euro USD and pound USD the most, because they're kind of similar pairs. So when they're a sync, trades normally do have a higher probability of working out. When they're out of sync, it gets a bit messy, and I tend to stay away. So when Euro USD and pound USD both make sense to the same direction, and DXY is also making sense in the opposite direction, then yeah, 100% I'll be looking to get into a trade for one of those pairs. AUD sure thing. Okay, so AUD broke to the upside, looking quite bullish there. I was expecting a move to the downside for AUD yesterday, looking to see if you can reject this level and see a move to the downside. However, as you can see, coming into, was that Asian session, we broke to the upside past this level. So yesterday I said if we do break through, price will probably continue and push up into one of these levels up here. Really nice support resistance around the 1.05300 mark. So I do think price, it will be continuing to the upside now for AUD. I think we're just retracing right now. I did say wait for a retest of that, but we might not get that because price is putting some nice wicks there. So I think if we confirm support here, so price can push up a little bit, come back down, confirm support again, put some wicks in, that'll be a nice double bottom, and you can look for some buys off that to take it to the upside. It'll be best if price does break through this though and starts testing this, because then you've got some really nice resistance, turn support, and then you can look to buy from here, which will be a stronger level than this level here, of course. And then yeah, take some longs to the upside, but essentially as long as we can stay above this level here, because this is definitely where their impulsive price action came from, we should be continuing to the upside, and next target will be 1.05300, around that area there. So like I said, if you can confirm that as support, so come back and retest that again. Probably want to see price push off a little bit first to show that we are seeing some momentum here. Come back, respect that, then look to go long from that if we can hold that and get some more wicks. But if we just leak to the downside and retest the support, then simply looking to get long from here and take it to the upside. Either which way, as long as we stay above that level there, I do expect continuations to the upside for AUD. So looking bullish overall for that one. Again, momentum's looking good. That's a big bullish candle there. Normally when you do see stuff like that, you do expect continuations to to continue in that direction. So simply just waiting for price to find that bottom, and then we continue. You're still hesitant to enter short. Well, yeah, I would be as well, to be fair. I mean, pound USD looks good to go short. I'm still expecting more downside for this one. But yeah, I wouldn't go short now. We're broken through this key level here on the left. I would want price to come and retest that, before I do get short. If you can confirm that resistance, then that would be nice to go short and pound. But yeah, we had seen a lot of momentum here to the downside and a lot of momentum here. So definitely want to see price start to retrace enough for us before getting short on this one. But yeah, for me, pound's looking like it's getting ready to go to the downside. We do have a little bit of demand here on the left. So again, if we do break above this, it might mean that pound takes a bigger push up. And then if that's the case, there's no short for us. But if you do break and retest off that, this falling price action, what it's doing now, that's potentially our first high. Well, it is our first high or low. Look for the retest of that, for some continuations lower. And then on the daily, I did say pound USD is still due a test of this support here on the left. which, as you can see, really nice support. 1.36, 1, 2, 3. We broke to the downside, was looking for the retest to continue lower, but we broke back above, never retested it. So I think now we're coming back for the retest of that support there for pound USD. So that's what I can see for pound, which is why I'm bearish on it. Price looks like it's come back into this area, potentially could be forming a lower high there as well. Let's get rid of that. Potentially could be forming a lower high here as well, so obviously a lower high there, another one there, and potentially we could be seeing another lower high here, which could take us to the downside to come and test this support, of course, and then, you know, either start to continue up or, you know, break to the downside again, and set some new lows potentially. So yeah, I'm looking at pound USD to come back down and retest that support. We've seen an aggressive move to the upside. I do think it's time for pound USD to take a little bit of a breather. So yeah, I'm expecting pound to go short, and like I said, a retest of this level here would be nice for some entries. But if you're hesitant and you're not sure about it, then the best thing, you know, I found to do in that situation is, you know, write it down. And if you've got a journal, or, you know, even just something you can set aside, a notes on your laptop or a notes on your phone or something, you know, just write this down. Say, like, you know, you're thinking price might go short, but you're still not too sure because of this and this. So because of that reason, I'm not going to take the trade and risk my capital on that. You know, if you still want to take the trade, you can take it on the demo account. That way, you obviously got no risk involved. Obviously, you're risking your demo account, but your demo account is not your actual money, so it doesn't really matter too much. So yeah, you can take the short on the pound USD, but because of some reason you don't feel like it's a good opportunity, or you're not too sure because of this and this, write that down, and then revisit the same trade, you know, next day or the day after, and see what's happened. Did the price go down, or did price reverse and go up? And then record that. Okay, so because price went up, maybe it's not good to take the trade when this and this happens. And just like that, you start to filter out some of your bad trades, and you take more of the good ones. And that's a good process of kind of like a little bit of trial and error, really. But yeah, it's all about just like taking more of your good trades and taking less of the bad ones, and just like it's a slow process of doing more and more of that. Because you always will take bad trades, not necessarily a bad trade, but a trade that fails, that, you know, maybe if you're a bit more clear-minded, or a little bit more non-emotional, you probably wouldn't have taken that trade or something like that. So you can always filter out more and more of your bad trades, and obviously take more of the good ones. You know, identify what works really well and just keep doing that again and again. So yeah, if it's not looking too good for you, note it down, move on. You don't have to take the trade, of course. Sometimes no trade is a trade in itself. But yeah, currently in Eur USD, we'll see what happens with this one. We got some news at 130, I believe. Again, we'll be staying in that trade through that news. Hopefully not too much from that. Pound CAD, I've been looking at shorts for pound CAD for the past 2 weeks now, I believe. But pound CAD has been so messy, and it's just be giving me heebie-jeebies. So I haven't really focused on the pair too much coming into this week. But essentially, I'm just looking at getting short on this pound CAD pair, because you can see here, really nice support here on the left. We couldn't break through this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts. We've broken through this, and now we've got about like 98 wicks there. We've got a lot of wicks there as resistance. So I do expect to see that continue back into these lows here on the left, which price still hasn't tested yet. And you can see here with all this bearish momentum here, the higher time frame momentum is to the downside. So sells, you know, agree with the momentum on the higher time frames. We're doing break and retest of resistance on the daily time frame. We got a lot of rejection on the daily already. So there's a lot of confluences there. I'm just looking for price to get that sell to the downside now. But when I jump onto the lower time frames, like the 4H hourly, you know, things get a little bit more choppy there. As you can see, it's not looking clear at all. You know, we do have kind of a trend line like so. We're going to hourly, you can see it a little bit clearer. you know, a trend line like so, connecting all these wicks here on the left. So maybe if you can break through that trend line, that'll give me a much better entry to get short on this one, and take that to the daily lows that I was speaking about on the daily down there. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of that price action at all. It's just so messy. But again, probably on this one, price will probably move to the downside, because again, we've got that rejection on the daily, nice break and retest. So I'm expecting price to move to the downside. It's just price action is not looking too good. You know, all of this here really, you know, is consolidation here. You know, argue that some lower highs coming down, but you know, those could have been lower highs. You know, lower highs around here. So it just doesn't work out the best here. You know, if I was to take a trade here and it failed, you know, I would know that this wasn't the best opportunity and I shouldn't have taken the trade. It looks great on the higher time frames, but my entry time frame has to be looking as good as the higher time frames. And again, I've definitely been on the wrong side of that a lot of times, where daily's looking good in the higher time frame, or weekly or 4H is looking good, but when it comes down to your entry, you know, it's not looking too good, but you just know that the higher time frame analysis will probably play out, so you enter anyway, and then the trade goes out failing. And you know, at the end of the day, the entry time frame is probably the most important. I know entry is just to get the entry, the analysis, and the higher time frame. But if you're entering the trade and you keep getting stopped out, you know, on your record it would just show a lot of losses. But it doesn't really matter that your analysis eventually plays out. It just matters what's on your record, really, doesn't it? If you're taking wins after wins, or you're taking losses after losses, and your entry decides that. Your entry decides where you enter, where your stop loss is. So the entry time frame has to look just as good as your analysis or your higher time frames. Daily is looking good, but we'll wait for probably a break of that trend line there. Things will probably look a lot clearer after that. There's a chance that we might break through and not pull back, but I think because the gap to the downside is so far, you know, we could break through and we probably have a chance to pull back even a little bit, and that's enough to get me into the trade to take these shorts to the downside. So we'll wait for something like that, wait for the first move. I'll get in on the lower high on the second move, and then ride that down to shorts. And if we do eventually break to the upside, then of course that trade was never for me in the first place, and we might actually be turning bullish here on pound CAD. But that's the resistance there that we're looking to play off from, and essentially for price to come back down to lows. And yeah, we'll wait for the break of the trend line and then get short. And yeah, this is the exact same situation for me now as well, of a trade that, you know, I would like to take, because I do have a strong feeling, strong, you know, intuition that price will come down, but the entry is not looking so clear. So this could be something that I write down, you know, into my notes, and then come back the next day and see what happened. Did price break to the upside, or did it work? And then, okay, if it did work, you know, what was it that worked? Did they break up consolidation? Was it the wicks on the 4H that made it work? You know, write down the confluences, and then over time you'll start to see a pattern between the winners and the losers. And then all your job is, you know, simply is just to take more of the trades that have the criteria of the winners, and less of the trades that have the criteria of the losers. But yeah, we'll find out what happens there with pound CAD. Eur Usd still taking its time. Again, probably will be in the trade for at least a couple of days. That's if it works out. Of course, it could obviously still fail. Gold buy or sell? Gold buy or sell? Yeah, I'm bearish on gold right now. I've drawn out these ranges here for gold between 1805 and 1777, and 1805 and 1830. So resistance, and that support. So price rejected this, so I'm expecting price to come here for gold to this daily support here. Again, if I just show you quickly, this support here on the left, taken across, now acting as support there again. So yeah, I'm expecting price to come and test that. It's obviously broken through that trend line there on the left. As you can see, it's broken through that trend line, so I'm expecting price now to fall to the downside back into this area. Again, I just highlight earlier that potentially price was to come back up and retest this. There could be some nice double top sort of setup there. left shoulder, not left shoulder, sorry. You know, the first test, second test, and then look for sales to the downside. Or if you're trading in the lower time frames, you could probably wait for a break and retest of this low here on the left, break and retest of that level, and short it down into that daily zone. But for me, gold is looking like it's still on its way to the downside, back down to that 1770s area. DXY looking like it's still trying to head to the upside, and as you know, when the DXY goes up, Eur USD does come down, but gold comes down as well. So I'm expecting gold to move to the downside for this one. So far you can see it's rejecting this support, so it's obviously not looking good for sales right now. So like I said, if it does push up again, get ready for sales up at that resistance, or if it does break out to the downside, we'll wait for that break and retest and take those sales on that break and retest. Either which way, I do expect to see gold come down. If it does take out this resistance here, that will invalidate it, and then we'll be looking at those highs up there on the break and retest of that. But simply just looking for price to, you know, come back to these lows. Eurocad. We'll take a look at Eurocad, see what's going on with Eurocad. Okay, so yeah, Eurocad overall very bearish market. You can see we felt that. Oh, subscriber, lovely to see that. Thank you for subscribing. Jimmy, love to see that. Thank you. Welcome to the family. Again, guys, you know, feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to. If you want to see the same content, I'm live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as well. So, you know, feel free to subscribe, you know, drop a like, all the good stuff is much appreciated. But yeah, if you want me to take a look at pairs, just leave it in the chat and I'll take a look at it for you. But yeah, onto Eurocad. I can see Eurocad take a fall to the downside. Yes, momentum in the higher time frames is down. This is like a range here, which does mean, you know, obviously one or two things. Prices get ready to move up or get ready to move down. Again, the probable move is down simply because momentum is down, higher time frame is down, and we're still respecting that resistance. So shorts from here do look good, simply to play the range back down to the support. Then if you're lucky, we might even take out those lows and can see another leg to the downside. But yeah, Eurocad for me looking good for sales. That really nice resistance here. Again, let's see what price action we've got on the hourly time frame. Okay, so a nice push there, a bearish candle there, hasn't really taken out that prior low. So overall, not the strongest price action. 30-minute does look good here. Maybe if you can take out that low there, it looks even better. Probably wait for that candle to close. But yeah, I would say shorts from here do look good. We're respecting that resistance here. Stops clearly above that level. Then yeah, a push back down into those lows and simply just playing that range back down into that support. Obviously stop loss above there. And yeah, a push back down to 143,400. So yeah, I do agree with you. If we do take out this resistance, it's probably that price is either doing one or two things. It's either having a false break to take out liquidity above here, or it simply wants to reverse up. So this is kind of like the place you want to put your sales at, because if price was to break this, it means that we're reversing. And the probability of we're reversing is probably about 25% of the time. Normally see about, if you do see a bullish trend or a bearish trend, on average, about 75% of the time you do expect to see a continuation of the trend. Then about 25% of the time it will reverse. So simply just looking to trade continuations is definitely a smart thing to do. So yeah, we do have the low lows and low highs. Price is struggling to break through that resistance. Sells there, stop loss above. I do agree. And if it does take out that resistance, then we might likely to reverse anyway. Then we could be getting ready for some buys to take that higher. But if not, we should be coming back down to these lows and maybe seeing another bearish leg to the downside. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped. I'm going to do one-to-one. Potentially, yeah, in the future, I could look to do some one-to-one sessions. Maybe over like a Zoom call or something. Skype, if Skype's still around, haven't used Skype in ages. But yeah, I potentially could do some one-to-one lessons. Something like a look into. Again, if some people, you know, are requesting that, then yeah, I could look to do some one-to-one lessons. I don't do any at the moment right now, but if there's any more like content you want me to start, you know, looking into to add more to the live streams, or just to make a video about itself, like yesterday I did a video on entries. So if there's a particular area that you're not understanding too much, or you're struggling to understand, or you want to understand more, you know, let me know. Whether it's, you know, support and resistance, you know, structure, price action, candlestick patterns, you know, where you should, you know, buy and sell from, you know, all that stuff, you know, just you know, leave it in the chat. Leave it in the chat, and you know, I'll be sure, because I'll be producing a lot more content, you know, of videos that you guys can learn from. So yeah, just let me know if you want to see a video on whatever, moving averages or something. Just, you know, put it down in the comments now. I'll be sure to make a video to help you guys on that particular subject. Okay, no problem, happy to help. Okay, one-to-one, nice. Well, that's 2 people, great. I mean, yeah, if you guys you know, would like that, could do some one-to-one lessons there, you know, over a Zoom call, something like that. Nothing too fancy. Again, this Eur Usd position is taking its time. Expecting momentum to really kick in after that candle, but yeah, we'll see what happens after that. Again, guys, if there's any trades that you're in, you know, feel free to let me know in the chat. We'll take a look and see what's going on with your trades, or if there's any pairs on your watch list that you want me to take a look at. You know, just leave it in the chat, and we'll see what's happening. But yeah, again, I did a video on the entries yesterday, and you can see, you know, I've done the exact same thing here with my entry for Eur Usd, you know, using the same thing that I was talking about on my on the YouTube video, just on this, you know, entry here. Price is giving us, you know, this range is broken. Giving us this range here, broken to the downside, looking for that lower high. You know, didn't enter here because I was waiting to see if we were to break above or not. Made the lower low, expecting a lower low to the downside, and my targets are all the way, you know, down there. But I do have some targets here for partials though. As you can see, this here gave us a big move to the upside, and this will be acting as support and might take price against me to the upside as well. So I would want to be locking in some profit around this area here of 1.15750. And then if we can break through 1.17550, then we do have a good chance of making back down to these lows. And then yeah, I'll look to, you know, keep some positions on to see if we can hit those targets. But we'll be taking partials at this level here, just in case if we do come into this area, make a lower low, then price for some reason wants to reverse or something like that. You know, want to secure some profits if that does happen. But yeah, if you can break through that, I do think we'll probably hit those lows there. Usd Cad still overall looking bullish there. Pound USD still pushing down. Okay, looks like Cad Jpy is starting to do that break and retest now. Yeah, Cad Jpy could be looking good for some sells. If we can hold this level here, 91,700. Nice support term resistance here. If we can hold this as resistance, now I do see price coming right back down and filling that range to the downside. If not, and we start pushing back to the upside again, then this will be the second place. And if we break through that, I might reanalyze the pair, because we might be turning bullish again. Because remember, I'm a little bit hesitant shorting the JPY pairs too much, because, you know, this is a very, very bullish market. You can see here, you know, it's a crazy move to the upside. This here could easily be retracement for price to turn bullish again. So, I'm aware of that bullish nature, but at the same time, we do have some bearish structure here, and I do still expect to see every test of this as resistance turn support as well. So I will be looking for that move to the downside, but if price action isn't adding up, I will stay away and just wait for a better opportunity to arise. But yeah, the break and retest is something I could look for. Again, maybe probably want to take this on a 15-minute though. This is the hourly time frame. Really maximize that risk to reward. How's the 15-minute looking? Again, so we've seen a little bit of rejection there, nothing too significant. So maybe if you can push up again, put some more wicks around here, could be some nice entries to the downside, or at least back down to these lows. But yeah, nothing too much there for Cad Jpy, but a pair that could be giving us some nice entries. I think pound CAD is probably the pair I look to focus on the most. Starting to push the downside quite nicely there, which is a good sign. We could be getting ready for some shorts. Again, like I said, a break of that trend line there would start to raise my eyebrows. We'll see what happens there. On the retest of that, if we get one or low high somewhere, and then yeah, we'll be taking shorts all the way back down to those lows, all the way down there, which is 1.68. And again, if I measure that in pips, you can see from this line to where price is now, it's about 160 pips. So if I can get a good stop loss of 25 pips, you're looking at a 1 to 6, almost 7, 25 pip stop loss, which is not bad on an hourly time frame. Or 50-minute, you can get it even tighter. Of course, you might get stopped out, but the risk reward makes sense. So yeah, the risk reward looks very, very healthy for this one. We'll wait for that break and retest. It's looking like we will push to the downside here, looking where the momentum is coming from. Again, I could have entered up here, but like I said, price action was not looking too good. So I'll wait for the break. Hopefully can get that today, maybe tomorrow, London. There could be some nice continuations. Again, pound still looking very, very weak. How's pound USD looking? Pound USD still pushing off. Pound NZD looking weak as well. Pound JPY looking weak. Pound CHF not as weak, but still retracing. So overall still looking quite weak there. Oh, there it is, USD CHF pushing to the upside. So again, guys, that's why I said it's so important that you always take trades that have the most confidence or the highest setup, because when you have especially criteria, when you use criteria to enter your trade, so like, I need to tick off these 3 boxes before I enter, you would get a lot of valid trades, but not the best set up trades. Like for instance, USD CHF, in terms of price action, this is a trade that I would look to take, because on the daily chart we've got head and shoulders here on the higher time frame, so left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We've broken through the support here, looking for that retest and then drop to the downside. Yes, they had a retest of that, and it closes a doji, so representing indecision. So we could be seeing that momentum take us to the downside. So from a daily point of view, high time point of view, it's looking great for me. I will be looking to get in some sales. And you can see on the hourly, we broke through this support here with that candle. It looks like potentially we can get some retest there. And I said shorts from there do look good, but the reason why I was looking to enter, because DXY for me was looking like we're going to turn bullish. So if DXY is going bullish, it doesn't make sense for me to short USD CHF, because DXY going bullish means USD is going to be strong. So if USD is going to be strong, why I sell USD CHF? So simply because of that, I ignore this setup, and you can see it's breaking to the upside. And again, that's because USD is quite strong right now. So stuff like that is a way to filter out more bad trades, because if I didn't look at that too much, I probably would have taken this trade if I didn't take Eur USD, of course. And yeah, I'll probably be looking at price breaking against me, and price not playing out to the way I thought it did. But looking now, you can see the DXY looking strong, putting an uptrend here. So it doesn't make sense to short USD CHF. So that's what I mean about filtering out some of your bad trades and taking more of the good ones. AUD, sure thing. We'll take a look at AU. Okay, so AU. Okay, so AU recently we're broken through this higher high here. and we're kind of using that as support, which is why AU is looking stronger than the other USD pairs. We've had a nice break and retest, and price is still pushing off. So AU still does have that daily support underneath it, but it's starting to lose a bit of steam here. As you can see, the way it's pushing to the upside is very, very corrective. We're coming back into this high here of resistance, and we're seeing quite a bearish reaction to the downside there. So AU's running out of steam here. We could be looking at price putting a lower high in somewhere, and if we do, that could be a nice place to go short, but only if we do get that lower high, because if not, price could still just push up back into that resistance and maybe go and break through it, because again, the higher time frames are still bullish here for AUD/USD. So if we can put a lower high somewhere, something like that, push on, nice strong bearish engulfing candle, look to put your stop loss above that, you could see some nice sales back into this support here. But only if we do get that. If price is still looking bullish, pushing on, then we want to ignore that, because that's not our trade there. But if you can put a lower high in somewhere, sales to the downside do look good, but we do need to stay below this level here, because if you start taking that out, we'll be creating higher highs continuously, which means price will probably push on to the upside, which is not what we want to be doing. So yeah, shorts do look good for this one, but we need to put a lower high in first to confirm it, and then I would expect to see AUD/USD pull back into these lows. I wouldn't look to target further than that, because we still do have that daily support there as well. So do make sure you watch out for that. But yeah, AUD/USD, we could see that move to the downside happen. Okay, so if that's good then, because you're able to identify your issues there, Wayne. You know exactly what is your problem there, because from the looks of things, you know exactly where to enter your trades to break and retest, but simply the entries are not working out. So basically, what you want to do is you want to go and back test specifically that thing you're talking to with me about right now. So that where price rejects it a few times and then it drops, but then it reverses. If you're entering there and it keeps reversing on you, obviously there's a pattern that keeps happening that price is doing that you're not noticing right now, and it's going against you. So what you need to do is go and back test that same concept again, and then look through those back tested trades, at least go for like 20 or 30 of those trades, and then just by doing that, you understand where you're going wrong. Just by literally looking over there, you can see the pattern happening again. And also do keep in mind that sometimes, again, price action doesn't always work out. Candlestick patterns are good, wicks are good, but they probably only work out, probably say about 70% of the time they work out. Like an engulfing candle, wick rejections, morning star, shooting star, all of that probably works out about 75% of the time, I would say. So you do have that 25-30% chance that the candlestick patterns will just fail, and that's just trading, that's just the way it is. So you do have to factor that in as well, that not every time when you do see a really nice engulfing candle or whatever, that price is now going to move in your direction, because candlesticks do fail as well, again about 20-25% of the time. So also keep that in context, not everything's going to work, but yeah, something that you need to back test into. Again, I can do more videos on candlestick patterns and the entry, the fine entry signals of candlestick patterns, again, but like I said, for the Eur Usd one, again, nothing too fancy here, just price pushing to the upside, nice wick to the upside, retesting some support here on the left, or resistance, sorry, on the left here, and then give me a strong bearish engulfing. I've entered on that and looking for that move to the downside. Again, targets there and there as well. So nothing too extraordinary with that entry. Just looking for price to continue to some lows. Again, I do have a wide stop loss there, so if price does want to pull back against me, that's fine there. Never wants to do that and then fall. Again, it's not my I don't have, you know, like a ability to know when price is going to fall. Price might want to move against me for a bit before it does fall, which is perfectly fine, which is why we got our stop loss in place, and you know, we got our breathing room. Doesn't have to just push to the downside as soon as I enter. But yeah, nothing too, you know, special with that, and just looking for a trade to the downside there. But if that's your issue, something you 100% need to go back test, because you know, if you can get that out of the way, you can start looking at you know, progressing a lot more in trading. Pound JPY, I did not look at Pound JPY, did I? So yeah, I'll look at that. Yeah, Pound JPY looking bearish, expecting more downside for this one. Again, like I said, Pound JPY is on this kind of area of resistance and support here on the daily time frame, so it's not the best place to get involved right now for Pound JPY. So I did say two things will look good for Pound JPY. Either we push to the upside, retest that, and then fall to the downside, and then we can take some shorts, or we get a nice break and retest of this area here, and then we can take some shorts to the downside. Either which way, I think price will probably head to 155, the next psychological level beneath us down there, and see that continuation. We've really got that momentum here. Price is confirming those lower highs. So yeah, shorts to the downside do look good here for Pound JPY. It's just not the best area. We'll come into that support there as well. Daily support. So if it can retrace up for us, great. We'll look for the break and retest of that. If not, we'll look for the break and retest of the level it's at, which is 156, and take it to 155. So I'm expecting more downside for Pound JPY as long as we can stay below this level here. If we break past that, we might be looking at a double bottom potentially. And price might want to reverse. So yeah, break and retest of that level, or I can get retest of that level up there. We could be looking at some nice sells. Okay, central pivot point. I've never looked at that before. Let's see what it's saying. CD underscore or was it just pivot point? I can't seem to find the indicator. But yeah, I've never really used pivot points too much into my trading, really. But yeah, I can't seem to find it. Yeah, that's definitely not it, is it? Don't think it is. Pivot range, pivot boss. That's looking mad. Crazy stuff there. Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's what you're talking about. It might be, if that's what you're talking about, because it is CD pivot there. Crazy stuff here. Yeah, I'll probably have to look into how to actually use that, because you know, I don't know what all these lines mean. I understand they're pivot points, but you know, I don't understand, you know, which is which kind of, because they're different colors. But yeah, it is something that I'll look into. I mean, I'm still looking, you know, at adding stuff, taking away stuff from the way I trade. But yeah, I can understand pivot points is just where, you know, price has the high probability chance of turning around, you know, pivot. That's what it basically means. So pivot points are good because, again, they're very, very simple, as in you install the pivot points into your chart, you wait for price to get there, price action, great, you know, you take the trade. So it's very, very simple, and it's also, you know, consistent as well, you know, you're consistent with it. So yeah, pivot points are definitely something to look at, especially you know, if you're struggling to find consistency, because pivot points will be consistent for you. You will obviously have your losses, you will have your wins, but you know, you'll be consistently taking the same trades all the time. So yeah, it does have a lot of factors into that, and it is good as confidence as well if you want to add something to your trade. I mean, I haven't looked at it too much. I've never really traded with it, so it's definitely something I'll look into. I'm definitely not the most experienced person to talk about pivot points. Okay, so yeah, that was it. Okay, it's the range of the day. Makes sense. Okay, because yeah, they are different sizes, aren't they? I mean, that one's hardly anything, and that makes sense because the range there was quite small, whereas this range is a lot bigger and a lot bigger there. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Could you use support and resistance with RSI overbought, oversold? Yes, you can. You can use support and resistance with RSI if you want. You can use support and resistance with anything. You can use support and resistance on its own, really, with just candlestick patterns. But yeah, I mean, you can use it with any indicator you want. I mean, literally, support and resistance is a strategy on its own. So if you're adding RSI to that, you're also just adding more to the strategy. So a strategy that already exists. So yeah, you can use the RSI 100% with support and resistance. It's a nice confluence as well. And on every time frame, it doesn't have to be the higher time frames, can be lower time frames, can even be 1 minute time frame, because it's all the same. You know, RSI will adjust to the period that you're giving it to, and support and resistance is the same throughout every time frame as well. So yeah, 100%. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense that to roam, because obviously the range of the day there, hardly any range there, makes sense. And the middle one's probably like the average. And then you've got the highs and lows of the day, potentially, or the range of it. And it's good to base trades from, yeah, because you could got the support there, could put it out to support and resistance, or a place where you look to buy and sell from. Look to buy and sell from the lows, buy from the lows, sorry, and sell from the highs. And then you don't touch price once in the middle. Again, this is just my first take on it because I haven't really looked at it too much. But yeah, it does look good. I mean, it is something that I will look into, pivot points as well. And probably a bit more smart money concept as well. I'll start looking into that. But yeah, guys, currently still in Eur Usd. Again, nothing too much with that one so far. Price hasn't really done anything since I've entered. It's still kind of trading around my entry price. How's DXY looking? Putting some wicks there to the upside, but again, price action is still giving us those higher highs and higher lows. So I'm looking at price, you know, continuing that. It might pull back again. Could do a double bottom, but I've given myself a wide enough stop loss for price to maneuver in. And yeah, we'll see the continuation if that does arise. How's pound USD looking? Pound USD, wow, pound must be so weak because I'm trading Eur USD, and Eur USD hasn't done anything, whereas pound USD is just flying off. So, you know, which it does give me confidence, however, for my trade, because like I said previously with my previous example, as I said previous about 10 times there, as I said from my example, that with Eur USD and pound USD, they normally do the exact same move, but they do it at different speeds or slightly different times. Like pound USD, again, taken off to the downside. Eur USD, I'm looking for the exact same move, but you can see Eur USD hasn't done anything. So that gives me confidence that when Eur USD finally does see some weakness, you know, we'll probably see it catch up with pound to the downside as well. So I can expect Euro to make the same move. But Euro is just a lot stronger than pound right now. Look at Euro pound. Yeah, Euro pound is flying to the upside. So that's clearly what would happen there. I think we'll probably see some weakness for Euro when we get to here for Euro pound. So probably might see pound push this up a little bit more. When we get to here, maybe Euro start to see some weakness now. And then that will probably help out my Eur USD trade to the downside. And then pound will probably relax itself a little bit. But yeah, pound is definitely a lot stronger, and DXY is still looking good as well. So I'm still confident with the position. We'll see what happens. I've given myself enough room for price to maneuver around. But yeah, looking for a move to those lows. And you can see the candles just closed, and again, pretty much just indecision there, which to the downside. Price is still kind of rejecting this support here on the left. So yeah, nothing too much there. Might pull back again. We'll see what happens. Again, I will be live again tomorrow, and hopefully we'll still be in the trade tomorrow. So I will be talking you guys through what's happened, you know, from now until my stream tomorrow as well, and what's happened overnight. Also, we do have news at 1:30 as well, so we'll see what happened, you know, from that news event, whether it affects it too much or anything. Should I enter pound USD sell? No, I would not enter pound USD sell. Yeah, I would not look at enter pound USD. Pound USD sell here is the worst place to sell the market. When it's an impulse into the downside like that, that's literally the worst place to enter, because there's nothing to support your buyers from. Because, you know, you could enter now and price could still retrace against you all the way up to here, and they're still coming in your direction. So where do you put your stop loss? Above there? And that's a huge stop loss for that move. So you need for price to find resistance, you know, at a level of value. For example, this support here, if we start holding this as resistance, that could be a much better trade there. Put your stop loss above there, enter the trade, and then you can have to take the short. It makes much more sense. I'm not saying that it will work or it will fail, but it makes more sense. You can have a better risk reward there as well. Or if we retrace back into this level here as well, you look to place your shorts from there. If we do, you know, retest that, and then it makes a lot more sense if we stop loss above that area as well. But here, it doesn't make any sense there. You know, never really enter in the impulse. Always wait for price to pull back, and then enter. Find some resistance or support, and then enter the trade. Never enter the impulse, because the impulse is, you got about 50% chance that price is impulsing because it's continuing a trend, or it's because it's doing a fake out here. Was a fake out. We only know it's a fake out because price came straight back down. But this here is literally what price did here, moving to the upside. If you entered up there, and look what happened there. I know we had some news as well, but yeah, it just doesn't play out on the long run, and you're normally entering because of your emotions as well, because you know that potentially pound will continue down, so you want to enter so you don't miss out on that trade, and that's just, you know, textbook fear of missing out. So yeah, you're kind of leading with your emotions there, and your emotions aren't consistent as well, so you can't bring emotions into your trading too much anyway, because, you know, we all do to some extent. You know, I do to some extent as well. But emotions aren't consistent. So if you're making decisions based on your emotions, you know, your decisions won't be consistent itself. You know, they go hand to hand with each other. So yeah, wait for retracement, wait for price to find resistance, then get into the shorts. You know, Eur USD is not looking good now, but hopefully it will look a lot better. Maybe if Eur USD was to pull back up, find resistance up here, put a nice double top in there, you know, you could be looking at entries there and take Eur USD down, which makes a lot more sense, and something you can be consistent with as well, because you're entering a double top, a pattern that you can be consistent with, rather than fear of missing out, which is not consistent. So pound USD, like I said earlier, could be something that you write down, you know, jot down, you know, could you have entered around here, or, you know, is that not clear enough for you? Fine, you know, wait for the break and retest. Not always you will get the break and retest. You know, I can tell you many trades where I'm waiting for price to come back and retest a certain level and never did. You know, we had one on USD Cad not too long ago. Price was breaking past this resistance here on the 4H, and I was saying to everyone on my stream that I was waiting for price to come back down, retest this, never did, and it just continued to the upside. So there'll be many examples where price doesn't come back for a retest, but again, we don't need to trade at every single opportunity. We should wait for the opportunities that do look good and that come to us. So yeah, nothing quite there for pound USD yet, but if it does retrace, there could be some trades there, and I'll let you know as well if we do get a retracement, an opportunity. I'll post it in my Telegram chat, so I'll make you guys aware if we do get something. Yeah, you can do that, Wayne. Yeah, there's strategies a lot based with that, where you look to enter at the beginning of the week, swing the trade to the end of the week. 100% you can do that. Again, if you want to be doing a lot more of that, you have to be aware of what's going on the weekly time frame, because obviously you're looking to hold for the week, of course. So again, for example, here on the weekly time frame for pound USD, we had an indecision here on the weekly candle for the previous week. See this candle here. So you've got the highs up here of the indecision, the range basically, and you've got the lows here. So you can simply wait for price to get to the highs of the range of the weekly, short there, stop loss above here, which is the high of the week, and then look to hold into the trade all the way down to the lows of the weekly candle, which is all the way down there, which would have happened this week. Of course, it won't happen all the time, but you can look to play the range of the week, especially when it's a doji, because a doji represents a range, which does mean a high probable chance of price filling the range the next week. So wait for price to get to the lows of the highs, buy it back up, sell it back down. Again, the important thing you want to do is make sure you're entering on Monday and Tuesday. If price is giving you a nice weekly candle, but on Thursday price still hasn't made it to the highs or the lows of the week, best to just discard that pair and move on to the next one, or just wait for the following week. You want price to get there fairly early by either Monday or Tuesday, and then short it down or buy it back up again. But you can do that. You can 100% do that. And that's also a nice strategy as well, especially when you're in full-time employment and you can't always access your computer all the time. And sometimes you need to be away and stuff like that. You can look to enter at the beginning and you can hold it throughout the week until the end. So there's 100% strategies based on that. But guys, it has come to the end of the stream, 12 p.m. GMT, or is it 12 a.m., 12 p.m.? I always forget, is it 12 p.m. or 12 a.m.? 12 p.m. GMT, my bad. So it's coming to the end of the stream. I will do a quick rundown on some of the pairs that I'm looking at going forward, and a quick break through the current trade I'm in as well. So like I said, currently in Eur Usd, looking for a swing back down into this support here first, then that support there. Second, looking for that swing there. DXY is looking good for a move to the upside, so looking for Eur Usd on the reverse, with that being the lower high there, looking at a nice push. We do maybe have a bit of a trend line forming as well, so maybe you could even see a third test of that trend line. Not too sure, we'll find out. But looking for a move to the downside for Eur Usd. Pairs that I'm looking at, one of them, pound Cad, definitely for a move. Wow, big push there. Would have been nice for entry up there. Obviously you can see that with hindsight, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. So I'm looking for a break of the trend line here for pound Cad. Again, like I said, pound Cad rejecting that support time resistance, and I do feel like pound Cad is getting ready for a move to the downside, back down to these lows. And back down to those daily lows down there. So we'll be waiting for a break, a retest, or a lower high somewhere, and we'll be getting to those shorts there for pound Cad back down to 1.68600. And we'll be taking it into those lows. So pound Cad looking good for sales. Probably the main pair I'll be focusing on. Cad Jpy does look good for sales as well, but we do need to get that break and retest of this level here, and then to the downside back down to 91, or potentially that level there, whichever happens. But Cad Jpy to the downside does look good, and those are probably the two main pairs I'll be focusing on. Pound Cad a little bit more, but currently in Eur Usd, so we'll be obviously focusing on that one the most, and seeing what can happen with that one. And then if I can get something on pound Cad, I'll let you guys know. Pound USD as well, if we can get a break and retest of maybe this level here, I will let you guys know on my Telegram. I'll post an opportunity. I probably won't look to take that trade because I'm already in Eur Usd, which is pretty much the same pair. So maybe if I've exited Eur Usd, then I will look to enter pound USD. But if I get something on pound USD, I'll let you guys know in the Telegram. So feel free to join. I've got a link to that at the top of the chat if you guys want to take a look. But that is the end for the stream, guys. I will be live again tomorrow. So if you've got any questions, you want me to explain something, you want to see how my trade got on for Eur Usd, make sure you pop in for a little visit for my stream tomorrow, same time as usual, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, happy trading, and take care.